We sort of got each other.
We worked well as a team. You know, I always knew that I had Alan's back and that if you wanted someone to get out there and be in the trenches with you, it was Alan Border. He was a mate.
Alan Border under a lot of pressure. And that's a nice way of saying good morning to anybody.
I personally think that the West Indies side through the late 70s and through the 80s, they're as good a cricket team as ever been.
Bowled him, right through him, Croft strikes.
I believe that the West Indies of that era, under Clive Lloyd particularly, were the greatest side that's ever played the game.
They were colossal. They were huge stars for us.
Oh, glorious. Magnificent shot from Richards.
Australia had dominated back in 75-6 with a 5-1 series win. Clive Lloyd went away and sort of analysed all that and came up with this famous makeup of a cricket team. You know, 4 fast bowlers, a wicketkeeper and 6 batsmen. Just facing Joel Garner. I mean, he's just a man mountain and just trying to pick up his length.
And that's gone. Big deflection there. It's a good piece of bowling by Garner.
Then there's Michael Holding coming in at the next end. Then there's Andy Roberts was still playing in my first series. And then Colin Croft.
I go into a dressing room and see Clive Lloyd, Viv Richards, Alvin Calichuran, Lawrence Rowe, Gordon Greenidge. And I tell myself at the time that, you know, this is good company.
Malcolm Marshall spent 2 years as a sub trying to get in. God, and he was hard enough as it was.
Gone, yes, he's out. And Kim Hughes departs without scoring.
And they basically bowled 6 overs, 6 overs, 6 overs, so probably 3 short balls per over. So if you're not a hooker, you're ducking and weaving, getting out of the way. So you had 3 balls every now and then to possibly score off.
It's generally short of a length, a lot of balls around hip height, maybe waist height. It was not easy to score. So you could bat for a long time against the Windies and not score.
If you were going to make runs against the West Indies, you basically had to get used to having, you know, half a dozen bruises, if not more.
The one thing that I always look out for as a youngster was who was standing up against the West Indies 4-prong pace attack. And it was in Trinidad 1984 where Alan Border became a huge hero of mine.
I do remember batting on that surface. It was just like all your nightmares are rolled into one. But for some reason, my biorhythms were in sync.
I think he scored 98 in the first innings, and the second innings was 100, again not out. And the West Indies, of course, amassed a big total and beat Australia 2-1. From that day, I loved Alan Border simply because of his resilience.
The West Indies were in their pomp, and we had to go to the West Indies, and then we played the West Indies at home. So we had 10 or 11 consecutive games against the West Indies.
We come back to Australia, we've got to play them again, back-to-back series, so it's not an easy task.
You just knew it was going to be difficult, but you're wearing the baggy green.
Oh, and it's a big appeal for caught behind. He's gone. That's a big breakthrough to the West Indies. And that was good bowling by Malcolm Marshall.
There's no sort of like dramas about within the team. It was, yeah, we knew we were playing against a good opposition and it was just going to be hard work. You know, why would we play back-to-back series against them? But that was just our lot in those days. But there was no internal dramas about, you know, should he be captain, who should be vice-captain, who should be in the team. It was just get on with it and give it your best shot.
A crucial test match for Australia. The second game against the West Indies at the Gabba. The first having been won by the West Indies by a big margin in Perth.
Yeah, there's a bit of pressure on, well, all of us, but Kim in particular as captain because we'd been beaten in the West Indies. We got beaten soundly in Perth, the first test, and we were going to lose the game in Brisbane.
Marshall to Alan Border.
That's the end of his fight on this occasion.
There's a lot of talk about Kim's captaincy, but not internally. I'm talking external noise around the place.
I don't expect you to like me, but I do expect you to respect the position I hold. Now, I was captain. It wasn't a political vote, pick me, pick me, me. They picked me.
There's probably not a sadder sight in sport than an Australian cricket captain on the skids. But even Hughes' logical successor, Alan Border, waiting in slips, couldn't imagine a more dramatic end.
You know, my coach, Frank Parry, had said, the day you're no longer having fun, you're better off to give the game away. and I wasn't enjoying what I was doing.
Kim came to me, I think it was just before the tea break on the last day, and we're in the throes of losing the game. And he handed me a piece of paper, and it was his resignation. It sort of caught me by surprise, and then the conversation started along the lines of, what are you doing? What are you talking about? Well, you don't need to resign. It's got nothing to do with you, nothing to do with your captaincy. We're just not good enough at the moment. These guys are a serious cricket team. A lot of sand was being shovelled from under his feet, just externally. He just wanted to get back to enjoying cricket. And the best way to do that, give up the captaincy, someone else can do that job, and then he can just concentrate on doing what he's doing.
I had no more petrol left in the tank, and I'd had enough.
The constant speculation, criticism and innuendo by former players and section of the media over the past 4 or 5 years have finally taken their toll. It is in the interest of the team, Australian cricket,
talk about how tough he actually was. Is he cried while he was giving a resignation speech. But yeah, anyone who knows him well knows that he's a tough character.
At least having done it this way, he has still got the chance to enhance his playing reputation. So I would say that he's done the right thing.
He's been getting some problems from the media, as he says, and one or two other people, but that's part and parcel of being captain.
At Shield practice in Queensland this afternoon, Alan Border wasn't saying anything to camera, but did say he was available for the Australian captaincy job. The team will be selected Sunday and named Monday.
All of a sudden I started to think to myself, hang on a minute, I'm vice-captain. Is there a natural progression? I hadn't really considered it that much, to be honest, and then all of a sudden
Alan was thrust into the spot.
In a way, it's a job you should want, but not feel you should have. And in a way, that probably made him a very good captain and a very good candidate.
I get called down to Melbourne for the big announcement. I do remember being a bit more sort of positive and confident about doing the job and looking forward to it than subsequently happened over those first couple of years.
It's a great honour, and I can just assure everyone that I'm going to give it 100% and just do my best.
Until you do it, you don't realise all the extra stuff that you're expected to be across and be involved in. You think, oh, do you need all this? I'm just happy being one of the boys and playing.
He wasn't that comfortable doing it because he wasn't ready for it. He was just enjoying his cricket and being my lieutenant. But I've admired one of his great strengths is that he was able to put the team's demands before his own.
I would always remember that Alan Border taking over the captaincy. I thought he'd done a fantastic job.
Welcome to the first day of this third test between Australia and the West Indies. Alan Border leads Australia for the first time in this centenary match.
I think when you asked to be the Australian captain, I was obviously very nervous.
And he's gone.
I think, wow, there's a bit more to this than I thought. We were told, in no uncertain terms, that if we went to South Africa, you're banned for life. It made me very wary. Didn't know who to trust.
Border's hit, he's out, first ball after one. And this match is thrown wide open.
Tensions are very high in that tight test. In fact, if it was played now, there's probably 3 or 4 players would have been suspended.
Maybe you can get sent off in cricket.
The crowd stand to a man. Alan Border can stand proud, one of the all-time great knocks.
New captain, new era, New England.
Next for this team?
We're going to come even harder. That's our mentality at the moment.
Might not be the biggest trophy, but it means just so much. Back-to-back hundreds, wonderful innings. King is struck, Andrew Flintoff has his 5 wicket haul. 38 from McGrath, a match-winning performance.
is well and truly alive because of one cricketer. What a summer he's having. What a cricketer he is.
What's he gonna do now?
He's done it. The most beautiful delivery.
We're going into the water gear.
That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Cops. 5 men were arrested last night. So we're patriots acting in the country's best interest.
Contest for the connoisseur. Enticing, entrancing. A moment you are been waiting for.
Tennis of the highest order.
Oh, that's wonderful.
A true champion here at Comrades at last.
Great try. And what a brilliant move. That is beyond special.
Sumptuous, scintillating perfection.
Stay in the game this June. Catch all the finals and be part of the making of history. Live on Supersport. On DSTV.
Well, we're back at the Kennington Oval, and this is the ultimate day of the ultimate test match for the World Test Championship. And it's another glorious day in London at the Kennington Oval. And there'll be a lot of people coming in here as the players make their way for the final day of this World Test Championship, with both teams having a chance to lift the mace. We have a wonderful day of cricket in store. You can see the players there. The game is set up beautifully. India need 280 runs. Australia needs 7 wickets. And a perfect setting for day 5 for the World Test Championship. You can see a lot of people already, and the atmosphere is good. There'll be tension around the ground. Nerves will be jangling when it comes to both sides. Ajinkya Rahane, Virat Kohli will resume from where they left yesterday. Australia will look for a much improved performance in this first session of play. Ricky Ponting, Kumar Sangakkara with me, set up for a beautiful day of cricket.
Yeah, good morning, Ravi. Good morning, Sanga. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, the anticipation, it's building. We've been down on the ground. You can feel the energy. You can feel the atmosphere. From Australian fans in the house, will be predominantly Indian fans here cheering on their team, hoping for a miracle. Virat Kohli, 44 not out. He's got a very reliable partner there in Ajinkya Rahane, who was India's best batsman in the first innings and has generally played really well when his team needs him the most. Can he stand up and stand tall again today and push India closer to what would be a very, very famous victory?
Good morning, everyone. As the umpires and the players walk onto the field, you can feel the atmosphere.
Oh, lucky. He's looking to take evasive action. He'll get the boundary. 175 for 3. Edged and taken. Steve Smith has pulled off a beauty, and it's Virat Kohli. You mentioned Boland is bowling well. The rhythm's good, and he's got the big fish.
Yeah, fantastic catch, great bowling. Yesterday we were talking about the full wide one here on commentary. See if he bites. And that is wide, that is full. The gap's there. Kohli bites. But what a brilliant catch from Stephen Smith. Flew to his right. We saw a few from Cameron Green, but this was as good, if not better. Virat Kohli gone for 49. India 179 for 4.
And another one. Scott Boland on fire. 2 in the over. First Kohli, now Jadeja. And Australia right on top at this stage. Half the Indian side dismissed.
That's brilliant bowling from Boland. Around the wicket, angling the ball into the left-hander, then getting it to sneak away late. Genuine outswing. Look at the release here. Drawn into the shot, just nips away, gets a feather. Alex Carey does the rest. This is high-quality stuff from the Australians, led by that man there, Scott Boland.
Australia needed some inspiration on this final day, first session. And Scott Boland has been the man. Ravindra Jadeja walking back for a duck. India 179 for 5.
Oh, that bounced over the slip cordon and into the boundary. What an over this has been from Scott Boland. 183 for 5.
Yeah, brilliant over. We set up Virat Kohli, got Jadeja from around the wicket, and now to Bharat. Over. We set up Virat Kohli, got Jadeja from around the wicket, and now to Bharat. Just look at this. Bounce, climbs on the batter, takes the glove, and just over first slip.
Nice shot. Beautiful shot that from Bharat.
Takes the glove and just over first slip.
Nice shot. Beautiful shot that from Bharat.